Well, welcome back to our series on revisiting the research we did at the Sunshine Coast Center on how meaning therapy influences clients. And one of the interesting results we discovered was when we gave the participants in our study tests after they completed treatment. Every one of them said that they had increased the meaning in their life and that they felt better. And that on some of these standardized tests we give them, they had many fewer problems and life just seemed a lot better. Which is really kind of interesting when you think about it, because if the intention of the therapy is to help them develop a meaningful life, they didn't really achieve that in the 30 days that they were in therapy. That's just too short. So what's going on? Why were they all so optimistic about their future? I mean, they knew they had to leave treatment and go back to, they have to deal with creditors. Family relationships are typically rocky. Employment is typically, I'm not even sure if I'm going to have a job when I get back, that kind of idea. So things are not exactly going well in their lives. And yet they could tell us with complete confidence that they were feeling very optimistic about the future. And this seems to be an indication of a type of optimism that Viktor Frankl talked about, and he called it tragic optimism. And tragic optimism, according to Frankl, was this idea of finding some meaning in suffering, and to whatever experience someone went through that they were not happy about, to use that as an opportunity to change. And to face life and the good and the bad with what Frankl would call responsibility. So how do I face suffering? How do I face creditors and family and everything with a sense of responsibility? So these three elements went in to make what Frankl called a tragic optimism. And we think this is actually what happened with the clients in our study, that after they had gone through meaning therapy, it's not that life was going to be a bed of roses or they're going to be, happy people or have smiles on their faces. No, none of that was part of it. It was part that somehow they believed that if they could be true to themselves and start pursuing things that help them improve relationships, then somehow they could go on and live like a better life, or what we would call in psychology a more authentic life. And this is what Frankl was talking about. So optimism was not based on being happy or thinking everything was going to be great. It was a much deeper thing. And how could I live a good life? How could I live a fulfilling life in spite of the fact that I owe the bank a ton of money, and my marriage isn't doing all that well now, and geez, I don't know, maybe the boss is really ticked off at me, but to still retain an optimism for that. Anyway, that's this session on our series, and we'll be back next time with another one.